Ann Taylor is a teacher that everyone loves. At almost 24, she comes to teach summer school at Greentown Central. She is everything lovely and wonderful. She practically shines, and everyone sees it. Bob Spaulding is 13. He's different from the others his age. He takes his own path in life and does what he wants to do. He lives in solitude, quietly observing the world around him. He's also wise beyond his years. Bob is immediately captured by the amazing Miss Taylor and volunteers to wash the blackboards every day after school in order to spend more time with her. Bob develops a daily pattern of walking Miss Taylor to and from school. They talk about all sorts of things, including sophisticated books, but often say nothing at all. He continues to wash the blackboards every day after school. A silent bond is formed between them that grows more and more every day. One day, while walking home, Bob invites Miss Taylor to meet him at the creek on Saturday to have a picnic and see crayfish and butterflies. She politely turns him down, saying she will be too busy. On Saturday, Miss Taylor meets Bob at the creek anyway. They share a peaceful, pleasant afternoon together in the sun. At the end of the outing, Bob tells Miss Taylor that spending time together feels all wrong, but he can't figure out why. He expresses his worry that others would laugh if they knew. They decide not to butterfly catch together anymore. The following Monday, after washing the blackboards, Miss Taylor calls Bob over to her desk. She tells him of her affection for him and praises him for his maturity. She explains how the world doesn't view things by character and responsibility, but rather age. She tells him that staying apart is what's best for both of them. As they leave, Bob promises he will never forget her. Soon after, she moves away. When Bob is 26 and married, he comes back looking for Miss Taylor. He finds out that she had died many years ago. However, interestingly, his wife is very similar to Miss Taylor. She, too, is sensational. The people who pass by her feel the glowing presence of an exceptional woman, just like they did for Miss Taylor.
In a story of love, the tone and perspective of the narration makes the story very simple. The tone is very simplistic and innocent. Throughout the story, the narrator is trying to convey the attitude that even though Bob and Anne's relationship may appear complicated, their love is actually very pure and childlike. Before reading, the audience may assume that a 10-year difference between Anne and Bob would dramatically affect their relationship, which in some ways it does. However, the voice of the narrator shows his view of how beyond their physical differences, Bob and Anne both like each other, and it is that simple. Along with that tone, the third-person perspective is used as the main characters Anne Taylor and Bob Spaulding are followed. This narration of Anne Taylor makes her a very limited character. The reader is not well informed of Anne's individual deep thinking or thoughts. The same narration makes Bob Spaulding a limited character as well. The narrator does not explain many of Bob's thoughts, like of how he came to like Miss Taylor, or about his feelings of her death. There is a lack of details in the narration, which makes the reader wonder about the many possibilities of what happened to the characters. This narration also makes the characters very straightforward and uncomplicated, thus adding to the creation of a simplistic tone for the reader. True love has been known to be faithful and conquer all hardships, yet society's views can contradict that meaning. In his short story, A Story of Love, Ray Bradbury writes about the unusual romance between schoolteacher Anne Taylor and her student Bob Spaulding. Anne Taylor is 24 years old, while Bob is merely 14, and despite their many differences, they attempt to have a romantic relationship. Knowing that their town would disapprove, Bob and Anne decide to go their own ways and stop seeing each other. Through Bob and Anne's story, Ray Bradbury tries to convey the message that individuals' awareness of societal disapproval prevents them from pursuing unconventional relationships. Bob's awareness of society's disapproval is first introduced while he and Anne are on a picnic. He comes to the conclusion that Anne and him cannot have a relationship, as he realizes, I guess we better not do any more butterfly catching then. When Bob first admits that, it shows that his conscience is telling him that what he is doing is wrong, and society would strongly ridicule him for desiring such a strange and different kind of relationship. The butterfly catching he refers to is suggesting that, like a butterfly, he and Anne were able to be free of each other and love each other without worrying about society's thoughts. However, when Bob comes to realize that the relationship cannot go on like this, he knows that it is the end of that freedom. Anne is also aware of society's disapproval of unusual and unconventional relationships. She realizes this when she disappointedly expresses to Bob, I'm afraid we're going to have to go by ages and heights in the ordinary way in an ordinary world. Even though she loves Bob, that love has to be ignored in order to avoid society's disapproval. To Anne, the consequences of that disapproval are so bad that living life ordinarily would be better than suffering while being together. The conclusions that Bob and Anne reach make them realize that their love is nearly impossible to pursue because of society's potential objection. Although they dearly care and love being with each other, they know that it is better to be separated rather than agonize in societal condemnation. An individual can have the will to desire dreams beyond the ordinary, yet society's opinion will always cloud over those dreams.